It's confirmed. Kendrick Lamar no longer speaks to the game.
This Top Dog calling me right now. Hold on.
It's laughs and it's jokes, but as we can see here, Stat's facial expression is evolving. You can see the stress in between the eyes, and now the lighthearted nature returns.
Hello? I'm back.
Okay, you're back. Okay, okay. Well, everything good? How'd that go?
Let me tell y'all what that call was about. Okay?
Oh yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So let me go to the chat, make sure there's some people in here. Let me tell y'all what that call was about. That call was about Top was calling me to tell me that when these clips come out, we got to tell the whole. He said, I know you telling the whole story, but you got to tell, it got to be in the clip of the whole story. Because he want everybody to understand Dot didn't just stop talking to him for no reason. After that video that dude shot in Compton, that changed everything.
The 100 video.
The 100 video. And I had spoke about that and remember I said that I told Wack and Game about that. And Top thing is like, hey, that gotta be it. It don't need to be perceived that Dot just stopped talking to Kendrick out of nowhere. I mean, Kendrick stopped talking the game out of nowhere. Right. That was the thing that, you know what I'm saying, that did it. And he reminded me that some of the younger guys, when they shot that J-Rock video, they went over to Game's house to do that part. And Game when he put that mask on, he said that the label or somebody said he couldn't show his face. But 2 weeks later, he did a Hurricane Chris video.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So right. These are the things that Top is reminding me on the phone. And I told him, I'm like, who from the crew that we need to have on, you know what I'm saying, right. to make sure that it's done correctly. He's like, no, I'm loving everything you're doing. I'm just telling you. He's like, I was talking to Dot last night. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, let him know it's all love. But he's like, I love everything you're doing. You telling the truth. Just that clip didn't have that part in there, so I don't want it to look like this nigga Dot just was like, I just stopped talking the game for no reason. So that's what it. He wasn't upset about it. He just wanted to make sure to tell me, which is true, that whenever I'm reiterating saying something, I got to get everything in there, because I did not mention that when I said that on even Culture United or the show, that I didn't reiterate the fact that video had went down, and that was the biggest change in everything. When they shot that 100 video in Compton, because Top communicated that to Wack and Chuck, and I said that to both of them too. So it wasn't like the nigga ain't know. So, that was the thing.
Lights up, mics up. Let's get these likes up. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe. Welcome back to Talking Facts. So, guys, Stat Quo, salute to Stat Quo, has got confirmation from Top Dog of TDE Entertainment, the CEO and founder of Kendrick's former label, who's been rocking hand in hand with Kendrick for many years, for over a decade, in this thing of ours called hip-hop. Stat Quo has been in the news lately for a lot of controversial takes. He's been getting a lot of things to go viral, and what he has done in the last 24 hours, he's gotten Top Dog to call him live on the air while he's on the Third Verse podcast with Justin Hunt, the company man. Salute to the company man and Stat Quo for once again breaking some news, okay? Stat Quo got Top Dog to call in and confirm that K-Dot no longer talks to the game. He won't take his calls, and we know that Game does not like that. But there's been a long history of nonsense, and if we're being honest, no one's surprised that he doesn't take his calls. No one needed confirmation on this, but this is a good story to know, because now we know for sure that a few things went into motion that made them understand that Game is one of them ones that you really don't want to try to get too close to, because it seems there's a level of disloyalty and a level of somewhat, for lack of a better word, backstabbing. I'm just going to be honest, and I'm not sitting here saying he backstabbed anybody, but what I am saying is there's a lot of funny business that Game tends to try to swim and play on both sides of the river. And it seems like if you trust him, you're going to get bit. Like that story with the scorpion and I believe it was the toad, where the toad gets on the scorpion's back and the scorpion is doing what a scorpion does and stings the toad after he stings the toad after the toad tells him not to sting him, and they both drown. Seems like Game is just a game. He's going to flip-flop on you at some point, and we've been saying this for a while. We've done a couple videos on this, that there is absolutely no reason for at this point, Kendrick to feel any kind of pressure to side with Game after some of the things he's done. Now, what has he done, you may ask? Well, we're going to get to all that. There's a whole lot going on with this Game, Stat Quo, TDE situation. But first things first, what we do know is Kendrick appears to enjoy his privacy. He appears to be a man that is very confident in himself, being alone, figuring things out on his own. It doesn't seem like he's a guy that needs to put his business out here on Facebook and Twitter to get you people's opinions so you can help him through any type of situation he might be going through. Other guys, such as the Game, a lot of times it seems that they put their emotions out there for all to see on display. Kendrick doesn't do that. I personally haven't seen him do that. I don't know if he has a Tumblr somewhere where he wrote a whole bunch of shit. But as for now, I don't remember seeing a whole lot of his emotional musings online trying to get pity from fans to say, why me, why he, why she, this, that, and the third. So I've known him to me, it looks like a private person. Now, Game, on the other hand, it seems to me, kind of wants the attention. He wants the fanfare. He wants the acknowledgement. He wants you to say, when you start naming the top 20 rappers of all time, he wants his name to be in there, just like he got upset when Complex had him a little too low on that greatest LA rappers list. Every time a list comes out, we see Game get a little sensitive about the list. So we know Game wants that acknowledgement. We know he wants that. He wants you to say, okay, yeah, the Game is nice. Well, we can all agree that the Game can rap. But when it comes to the factor of loyalty, we've seen Game play a lot of games with people like Jay-Z, people like Kanye West, different people where it seems like he's with you, but he kind of over here with your op at the same time. The whole thing with 50 and a lot of people, it feels like the Game somehow, some way is an island to himself, and he can blow in the wind, but you really can't. So let's talk about it. At the end of the day, we got confirmation from Top Dog when he called us Stat Quo, who was on the episode of Third Verse with Justin Hunt, and we saw that Top Dog wasn't really irritated with it because, to be honest, Stat Quo spent the full call, even though you couldn't hear Top Dog, he was smiling. Stat Quo was smiling, so you know that Top Dog wasn't reaming him out too bad. And what he went on to say was that Top wasn't calling him to ream him out. He was calling him to say, you got the story right. You're doing a good job. There's just a piece missing. And that piece is very important because I believe Top Dog only saw a clip. And in that clip, they didn't have the conversation about why Kendrick no longer talks to the Game. So let's get to it. End of the day, we've seen Game flip on Dr. Dre. We've seen Game flip on almost everybody on the West Coast and whoever he linked up with on the East Coast too. I think the only person he may not have flipped on was Drake. I'm just going to be honest. So end of the day, we've seen this story play out time and time again. But let's go back and figure out why. Anybody with half a brain knows that Kendrick and the whole TD should have an issue with the Game because of the way he moves with the pop out and things and other things of that nature. But they've never put it in the words. So let me start here. What I did was I compiled some stuff. There's a whole lot going on. Chilling with Moni had something to say. Everybody has something to say. So let's start at the start. Top Dog called into the Third Verse podcast to explain that Kendrick Lamar stopped communicating with the Game because of specific industry moves. Stat and Justin were having a conversation on a previous episode, if I'm not mistaken. And they started talking about that again, and then this is when Top called because he wanted him to get it right. If we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it, right? So this is basically coming directly from Top Dog, and we're going to have this conversation. All right. Most notably, the Game filming a music video with Drake. Yes, Drake was in Compton filming a video, the same video that Wack 100 said Drake was so scared he got in his car and drove off and they had to go chase him down because he saw too mmany guys walking around with sticks and this, that, and the third, okay? As he would, because that's not Drake's nature. He's not really a hood guy. He's not a guy that he plays a guy good on TV, but that's not really his nature to be around a lot of hood dudes doing this, that, and the third, and running outside in bandanas and weaponry and armed to the teeth and talking slang. No, he's not around that a lot. So for him to go there, even back then in 2016, he was not that guy. He was not tough. Even though he plays one on TV, he's not a mob tie guy, okay? So when they did that 100 video, yeah, Drake is in the video, but according to Whack 100, and if you look at it, he looked kind of nervous anyway. Let's just be honest. So Whack 100 said he was nervous, but that doesn't matter. He did come to the video, and he did do his verse, and Game respects him for that. But in that verse, guys, you got to understand, he took a shot at Dot in the verse. He subbed. It's not even a sub. Anybody with half a brain can listen to that verse and say, oh, he's talking about Kendrick. I want to get to the verse, but you got to understand, Kendrick is from the sidelines watching the Game, who's supposed to be LA Confidential. He's supposed to have the all of the interests of the West Coast and LA in his mind. He's supposed to be thinking about that culture, the West Coast culture, when he does these things. So to bring a guy who's going to openly disrespect somebody from the West Coast, that you're supposed to have your arm around, you're supposed to be trying to bring Kendrick up, because apparently Game, he was on tour with Game with J-Rock, this, that, and the third. So he respects them, and he's supposed to have a level of loyalty to them. But he brings Drake there, who these guys are openly kind of competing with each other, and he throws his arm around him, puts him in the video, and lets him get off these shots at Kendrick. Let me tell you the shots that he says in this 100 video, so we can all be on the same page, because to me, I'm going to feel a way about that too. I'm not really a guy that goes around saying you can't chill with this guy, you can't do a song with that guy. But if you know that we're subbing each other, and you let him sub me on your song, talking about the things that he says on here, which I'm about to read, that right there is step one. That is a huge red flag that speaks to your loyalty. In the verse, Game even tells him how he got him in LA. Anytime he comes, he's going to look out for him. He's going to make sure nothing happened to him. So you're basically telling me you can bring a guy that's openly criticizing me and beefing with me. You'll bring him to my neighborhood. You'll bring him to Compton or wherever they were at, and let him have free reign. He hasn't done nothing to earn it but get a lot of records sold. He hasn't done nothing in the streets. He hasn't put in no work. He's not from around here, but for some reason, you're going to bring him here, throw your arm around him, give him full protection. Right? Quote unquote, I throw a bulletproof vest on you and a whole OVO. Why? So right there, Dot was like, okay, we already feel a way about this guy, and this is the final straw. You gotta understand, we've seen this from Game time and time again with Dr. Dre. He's on again, off again with everybody. It seems like some bipolar shit, I'm just gonna be honest. So this right here is enough to make you step back and say, all right, we good on this guy. So he lets Drake come to Compton, and he lets him get off this verse. Let me read this verse. Thank me later. Thanks for nothing. Thanks for bluffing. Thank you so much for wearing your true colors to every single fucking function. Had niggas tell me to my face how we were family and how they loved me while they were skimming off the budget. Now when I see them, they're the ones that's acting funny. People been reaching out to me, and I'm on some straight unresponsive shit. I would have had so many friends if I didn't have money, respect, and accomplishments. I would have had so many friends if I held back the truth and just gave out compliments. I would have all of your fans if I didn't go pop and stayed on some conscious shit. Gang, right there, that is 100% a Kendrick Lamar diss. And when Game heard this, he had to know who he was talking about. But he co-signed it anyways, put his arm around him. It don't take much to know he's talking about K-Dot right there. K-Dot was one of the few guys known for doing conscious rap, for lack of a better word, at that time. And Drake right here is openly challenging him, saying, I could do what you do and do it better than you. I'll have all your fans. You wouldn't even have that. According to this guy, he said, I would have so many more friends if I lost my success and my confidence. I'm in the club every time they play that competition. If they even play the competition, and I seen the response they get. He's trying to say that this shit don't get no response in the club compared to his shit. But let me continue. Yeah, nobody's even hearing it. On the top of the pyramid. Might go to Jamaica, disappear again. My circle got so small that it's a period. Okay? Saying that to myself. Now, to me, I'm feeling the way that, for one, you brought him here. For two, you shot a video with him. For three, you let him disrespect me in the video in my own neighborhood. Yeah, we feeling the way. Yeah, the word got back. So if I'm Dot, I am I'm on God with you, and I'm not taking your call. Stat already told us that. Game is always asking him, why Kendrick don't take my calls? Well, 10 years ago, right? Back in 2015, 2016, you let my quote unquote op get on your record and diss me. So that's rule number one. But there's more. There's more before, during, and after that. I told you, Game acts funny, and we already know this. We already know that Game is kind of, he tries to play in our face, is what they like to say. He tries to be obtuse about these things and try to act like, what, me? What did I do? That's why he's asking Stat Quo, why won't he take my calls? If Game had any kind of common sense, he would already know Dot shouldn't be taking your calls. You didn't even go to the pop out for one reason or the other. Either he didn't want you there or you didn't want to be there. Right there, that's friction in and of itself. It was to celebrate the whole LA, and you, for one reason or the other, we still don't know. They had Game on the video talking 5 minutes straight about why he didn't go, and I can't tell you what the hell he said because he was rambling on and never said nothing. So we still don't know why Game didn't go to the pop out. But let me continue. All right. So another reason that Top Dog gave when he got on the phone with Stat Quo, he said, listen, when you tell the story, I saw the clip, you didn't include the part about the video. When he did the 100 video with Drake, he brought him there and let him do his thing. Also, Top went on to say, he said that he reminded Stat Quo of an instance when the younger TDE artist went to the Game's house to shoot a video, a J-Rock video, right? And during that video shoot, the Game wore a mask on his face because he claimed that the label wouldn't allow him to show his face. Some type of contractual thing. He tried to play it off, this, that, and the third. However, just 2 weeks later, he appeared openly in a Hurricane Chris video, and that didn't sit well with TDE either. So, gang, you got to understand what's going on. He playing games with them, and they don't like it. I think Game got a little, what has always been a little level of jealousy, but it just gets bigger and bigger. I think he wants to be acknowledged as the top dotted dog on the West Coast over everybody, right? He won't say that, but I think that's what it is. We clearly see him when he put the list together of the West Coast artists. He put himself pretty high on that list, gang, right? Now, I believe he was pandering when he put Kendrick, if I'm not mistaken, put Kendrick like one number higher than himself. I think it was pandering, gang. At the end of the day, I think Game think he's the number one, but he says Ice Cube and Snoop Dogg ahead of him, this, that, and the third, just so it won't be no friction, right? Every MC supposed to think they're the best, but they also supposed to know their lane. So those are just two of the things, but it's so many more things like the pop out and like him coming out last year with this whole thing about I'm the king of the West Coast, right? I dug up some other shit just to remind us what he actually did. So it was the Drake thing with the in 2015 with this video, right? 100. Then he the King of Compton title, right? This was what, last year I think it was. The Game has repeatedly claimed he is the best rapper to come out of Compton, openly stating that nobody, including Kendrick, can out-rap him. He even dropped ambiguous lines on the mixtape, challenging Kendrick to step up and end it if he believes he holds the crown. And a lot of you guys were disappointed last year because when he said that shit on that mixtape, I don't know if it was earlier this year or last year, when he said that shit on that mixtape, a lot of people that I respect was saying, nah, it's not a shot. It ain't a real shot. This was before, because he took two shots. He took one first, on the first mixtape, whatever song it was, he took a shot. It was a light shot, and people was like, nah, I don't think so. Then he came back and said, I'm the king of LA rap, whatever. He said some shit. I'm the king of Compton or LA, whatever it was. Both of them could be named Kendrick too. He said, I'm the king of this, ain't no doubt about it. And whoever y'all saying the king ain't gonna do nothing about it. Right there, we was like, okay, there it is. It's an open shot. At this point, we understood the assignment. We knew what he's trying to do. He's trying to bait him out so he can get a battle going and get some pub for himself. Just like he did this thing with YG. That's the pub he's looking for. He wants to stand up and rap and do what he does best. And he wants everybody to say, oh, snap, Game was nice, right? While he drink down a whole pint of tequila, right? But it didn't happen. Kendrick didn't feed into it. And a lot of my contemporaries wouldn't understand that was a straight up diss. As an MC, I know it was a diss. I know he was dissing him the first time. I didn't need the second song for him to come back and diss him because you guys were still debating if it was a diss. So he dissed him. Straight up dissed him, gang. And we already know at that point he wasn't getting his calls, so that made him even worse. He said when he was mad at Dr. Dre, most of the time those were issues where Dre wasn't taking his calls. So this thing about not being able to get in touch with people, it bothers him. It gets to his core, gang. And we see that Game doesn't handle a rejection well at all, gang. Let me just continue. So we saw that the Game had claimed on various occasions that he tried to sign or mentor a young Kendrick early on, and that Top Dog turned him down. A lot of that stuff was refuted and debated by people in the inner circle. And remember that big that story came out. It might have been Fantastic Hip Hop or the other guy who pulled up the old Kendrick line that said Game didn't like it, right? He said they gave the CD to Game, and Game, the word got back a few weeks later that Game didn't like it. Then Game comes out trying to say that he's about to sign Kendrick, this, that, and the third. They were like, how you about to sign him when Kendrick already said on the old verse that you didn't like the CD that you got from him. You didn't like the demo. So a lot of these things starting to just leave a sour taste in people's mouth when you see this guy do these things and he flip-flops and change the narrative. I think there's more than one personality in there. I'm just going to be honest, right? I just think that something's going on that needs a closer attention, or really, do you care? Like, do we really care? I really don't care what's going on in there. So, end of the day, I feel like Game is always going to be Game. We've seen this guy flip-flop on people that he's supposed to be down with 100 times, so it's really not any real news, right? So, as this thing is unfolding and Top Dog is telling Stat Quo what's going on, people are having reactions in real time, and I want to get to that. Chilling with Moni. Salute to Chilling with Moni, right? The cousin, salute to her. She came out and she wanted to comment on this because it went viral and everybody had questions and she had questions. All right, so let me read her comment on Twitter. And she said, me and the cousins have been saying the Game knows exactly why Kendrick been distancing himself from him. We've talked about this moment repeatedly because everything has always pointed here. We always could tell that Kendrick really was not speaking to the Game because Game would get more and more and more, I want to say, aggressive towards his feelings about Dottie. He would overtly show little nonsense things that made you understand that there must not be any real communication with Game because he's trying too hard to get Kendrick's attention. So there's something going on. So we could all see that Dot wasn't responding to him, right? Let me continue. We've talked about this moment repeatedly because everything has always pointed here. Stat pretending not to know is also funny. He didn't need Top to tell him this since the chats have already told him this. But I guess it's good to get the confirmation. So Moni is basically out and out saying, Stat, you already knew this. I don't know why you sitting on here on Justin's show acting like you don't know why. You obviously do know why. And the chats were openly telling you this for a while, and you're on here acting like you don't know. All right, so Moni listen, she ain't got no time to play no games, so she's telling them straight up this is what it is. Let me continue. Kendrick never cared about who was friends with who. Game crossed the line with doing this, and he knows it. I feel like the same way. I feel like it's not about you being friends. Just like this whole thing with Drake going goony goo over who knew Dot or who celebrated with him, who went to the pop. I think it's deeper than that. I think it's a little bit deeper because this ain't just showing up to the pop out and dancing. This is more so you let a guy openly diss me on your record and you pretty much swore allegiance to him on that same record, telling him I protect you every time you come here. Ain't nobody gonna do shit to you. So it's a whole different thing. It's different when you're openly telling my op, I got you. You could come here anytime you want. You my man's 50 grand. It's different. It's different to me. And I feel like what we're seeing is people got to protect themselves. I choose me, right? Didn't I say I choose me? At some point, you can't have this funny bunny energy around you. No, you ain't got to come out doing diss records about the dude, but it's funny bunny energy, no matter how you slice and dice it. So at the end of the day, just like your boy gets mad at LeBron, this and that, the third decides to protect his energy, it's two different things because he constantly disses him. He's constantly dissing LeBron. It's different. Kendrick never comes out saying anything about the Game. You would already have heard whatever diss, and we've heard at least 5 disses from Drake to LeBron. Dot not doing that. This is a different thing. I'm just going to protect myself from whatever weird energy you got going on. Two different things. Nah, I'm not going to sit around being angry, but I'm not going to let you play with me either. That's the difference. The thing with Drake, he want to let the whole world know over and over that he's upset with you. But I already told you, he gets a bump out of that too. Every time you dissing one of the biggest, greatest basketball players in history, you're getting a bump. You're getting a bump in the zeitgeist. You're getting a bump in, and you're getting that sympathy vote. You're a victim, this, that, and the third. So it benefits him to diss him at the same time, right? But let me finish what Moni said. Another funny thing we caught, Drake's diss aimed at Kendrick on 100 starts at 234. Kendrick's response to him on Element also begins at 234. So Kendrick did respond to him on Element. You can go listen to that. But when you hear it, you realize, oh, this is a response to the game. I'm sorry, to Drake, and it's pretty clear that he's not too happy about that. But Moni says they started the same time on each song, which was dope. All right. Could be a coincidence, but knowing how intentional Dot is with details, that's pretty hilarious. That's a pretty hilarious little nugget. So Element, 9 years ago, gang. All this stuff is years ago. So for us to act like we don't know these little things happen and they still a part of what shaped us and how we got here to this battle, it's kind of crazy because it's been so much that there's no way to ignore at this point what these guys got going on. This is a long-standing beef. It had a long way to get here, and this is where we are. And for Game to try to play the middle because he got that so-called free verse from Drake, and then Drake came to the video shoot and showed out with him, it's still kind of wild. It's a level of disrespect and disloyalty to me and others, right? So I'm looking at this thing as salute the stat for drawing it out, and it needed to be discussed. But at the end of the day, there was no one confused that Kendrick does not speak to the game. It wouldn't make no sense for him to really be taking his calls. I'm just going to be honest. And Game actually knows why. Game just came out and said, well, I didn't feel a way when Kendrick was on Power. He did an episode of Power. He's in the scene literally with 50 Cent. I didn't feel no way. I think you did. I'm going to be honest. That is a movie set. It's two different things. But if you want to take it that way, take it that way. You got to understand, 50 Cent's down with Dr. Dre, right? Kendrick's down with Dr. Dre. That's a whole aftermath thing. Eminem's down with Dr. Dre. They all in a group chat. They all good with each other, right? So Kendrick is going to go and work with 50. It is what it is. Ain't about it being your op. You worked with Drake. He worked with 50. It ain't about it being your op. He's not going around at a show with 50 Cent dissing you, right? It's two different things. He don't got his arm around 50. He's not bringing 50 to Compton, showing him around Compton. Well, this is where they sell the hot dogs. This is where you get the big wheels. He's not showing him this, that, and the third. He's good with him in a business capacity. Right? You're good with Drake in a business capacity, but then you went outside of that. You brought him to the city. You didn't have to do, you just a little bit extra. Through the whole battle, you supported Drake and not him. So it's a whole lot more than just a business decision, one episode of Power. But he's just trying to leverage that Kendrick went on Power once upon a time and had a scene. Well, even more than a scene. He played a character in there. He's like, I don't feel no kind of way, gang. You search your feelings. Do you think Game didn't feel a way when he saw Kendrick on that screen with 50 Cent? I'm sure he felt the way. I'm sure some of this stuff stemmed from that, some of this extra shit that we're getting, gang. End of the day, salute the Top Dog for jumping in there. And they still saying that you can't hear his voice. They muted his voice once again, so we don't even know what the heck going on, right? End of the day. But I'm going to leave it at this, man. If me being who I am, I understand why Dot won't take his calls, because when I'm looking at the game, I don't see somebody who's 100% focused and loyal on what we got going on as a culture and as a coast. I feel like he'll lean whichever way the wind blows, how he feels that day. Except when it comes to Drake, he really loyal about that verse, gang. I'm just going to be honest. I think he felt like it was really a really big deal. It was almost a luxury to get a verse from Drake, and he feels like Drake didn't have to do it. He is eternally grateful, gang. That's why he's turning his back on anybody and everybody that come out against Drake. That's why he tried to bait Rick Ross into going back and forth during the battle. He just wanted to battle anybody just to show his loyalty. Right? He couldn't openly battle Dot because Dot was going to be, first of all, Dot is already conflicting with Drake. For two, it would have made a whole lot of noise on the West Coast. It would have been a very big problem if Game would have tried to jump in that situation and battle Dot for Drake. That would have been a problem too, and he knows that he ain't crazy. Both his personalities understand that Simon ain't going to be good. So he waited his time. He waited till the whole thing was over and came out and showed his colors at the end of the day. He don't have to do anything. He can be friends with anybody, but you got to acknowledge that it looks kind of strange when you do it, okay? When you go and be cool with a guy that's openly dissing this guy, and he's on the same coast to you, and I believe that Game said in one of these songs recently, why I got to support somebody just because they from my own coast. That's not what we're saying, but at the same time, right, he was saying that, when you guys go do your drive-bys, are you supporting each other then? We understand that. That's neighborhood politics. But when it's the West versus the East, or whatever it is, when it's this person versus whoever, at that point it should be some unity, gang. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. It should be some unity from you guys, right? I know it was unity back in the day when it was West versus East, when Tupac was running around screaming thug life and this, that, and the third. Oh yeah, it was a lot of unity. East Coast dudes had a lot of trouble moving around over there. Okay? So end of the day, you guys are going to link up when it's necessary. And I feel like, Game, you're making excuses to not do so because you feel submissive, or not even submissive. You feel like you owe Drake. You feel obligated to somehow defend, protect him some kind of way because he did a solid for you and you'll never forget it. And that's cool, but you got to understand, you alienated the people that was already on, they were already on the ground for you. They were already there. And I think you kind of like little bro them to a degree, and you look at it like, I can do what I want. They little niggas. I was out before him, and that's fine. But if they still little niggas, then you're going to have to understand that they're going to grow up one day and be grown men, and they're going to make their own decisions, and they're probably going to decide not to rock with you. And that's where we at with this whole situation. Kendrick has decided to not rock with you. It looked like TDE kind of don't take you serious no more. No one responded to the newest disses and the newest conversations. So it's really, I think they're already feeling like they've surpassed what you've offered. That no one's going to forget what you've done, but I think they already feel like they surpassed you, dog. I'm just going to be honest, and they don't really need you no more. It feel like you're flailing around, trying to get their attention, trying to stir up a battle, this, that, and the third. I already made videos that said, Kendrick, please ignore the game, right? Or that video was a couple months ago, and I applaud him for not feeding into none of this nonsense about battling you, this, that, and the third, because it's just not necessary. It's bad for the West Coast. It's bad for the culture. We don't need that battle, and I really don't want it. And I'm going to leave it at that, man. Listen, salute the top dog, salute the Stat Quo, salute the company, man, salute to everybody involved with the situation. This is another historic hip-hop moment, and we're going to just relish in it and talk about it and make sure we got the facts straight, right? So get in the comments, let me know what you think, all right? Listen, every Wednesday night we going live. In 2 weeks, the West Show's coming back, gang. It is what it is. Head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They ship all over the continental U.S., all right? And those shows on the What Show, that's 9:15, 9:30 on my social media. I got a Patreon. Go join my Patreon. Lock in. There's a new album by 4 Hours, The Ugly Professor. I'm on there and quite a few other dope MCs. The album is called Addition by Subtraction. Lock in. It's not for suckers, though. It's real hip-hop. It's real quality hip-hop versus our hard as fuck. Go lock in and download that, stream that on your favorite social media platform, all right? Listen, every weekday morning, Monday through Friday, I'm going live 8 a.m. Tap in, 8 a.m., 8:15 at the very latest. Every morning, gang. Get in the comments. Let me know what you think. Listen, I'm done. I'm cooked. I'm finished. I'm out of here. I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace. Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard, put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within. With the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin. With the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end, and then secured a spot with some goons and some kin. And then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the burbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking. And all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like past fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe and put some food in his face, and he'll kill for you.
but I don't need them for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here, we ain't the cheese, we the trap.